Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday. It's this is the 12th today, I think. It's August the too far into August, as far as I'm concerned. We could back that bitch up like 2 weeks. That'd be great. Thank you. It's another Technical Alpha podcast. Got a great show lined up for you for today. Hope you're all doing well. Glad you could join us. If this is your first time here, we talk about video games and movies and TV and just random bullshit, really. And we hope that at least some people care enough to not only listen, but give us money. Because that's where we're at in life. So consider going to patreon.com/lagtv and being one of those people. And if not, well, honestly, it was probably a wiser use of your money anyway. Before we get started, got a very important question. Mr. Black, how was your week?
How was my week? Was all right.
If you can remember it, is that?
Yeah, I do remember now.
Okay. It's all coming. The last 7 days, all coming back to you slowly.
I took a couple days off and just did yard work for about 6 hours a day.
I saw that. Lots of mulch.
Yep. 8 trucks full of it. So like 8 yards. And so I mean, yard and stuff is all looking pretty and nice. Yeah, it's just
It's the thing about having a sizable property is the amount of bark mulch that one needs to make the property look nice substantially increases.
Yeah. No, but it was good. I actually enjoyed it. When I got the place, I told Kayla, like, you're doing this shit. I don't like dealing with the pool. Kayla deals with that. And I was like, either Kayla's going to do the yard work or I'm going to hire somebody to do it. I mean, I probably should have hired somebody because it would have been way better value for my time. But honestly, I enjoyed it. So
sometimes you just got to do shit not because it's a good value for your time, but because it's just nice to do something.
Yeah, not everything has to be opportunity cost, right? So
your life is going to be miserable if everything is opportunity cost.
So I just decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to do this shit. Then I just didn't feel like streaming anyway. So I was like, I'm going to take some time, and I did it the first day, and I'm like, you know what? I really enjoyed myself. I'm just listening to audiobooks, being in my own head, figuring out my life. And just chilling and doing gardening work. I mean,
nothing goes together like figuring out your own life and laying down bark mulch, Mr. Black. Those two traditionally like peanut butter and jam.
It was nice. So did that. My old house is in conditional right now, so I accepted an offer. They're doing an inspection tomorrow. So I'll know next week if that's going to firm up or not. It's looking good. So that took quite a bit of my time as well, just because I've got a tenant living there. So, and they were looking for a house and they ended up buying a house. So then we're like juggling,
trying to figure the times.
And then, there's inspections, and then they also have 5 kids there.
Huh.
Yeah, it's like a fucking madhouse of children.
Probably Catholic.
No, they're definitely not Catholic.
No.
I don't. Or they might be, but I don't know. I don't think so.
I'm trying to think of how many other people are having 5 kids right now.
No, it's a blended family. So there's kids from
just prolific.
So yeah. Anyway, was just busy doing that shit, and that's just pretty much that. That's been a solid week. That's been my week.
It's a solid week.
All right. It's been all right. Just been chilling, man.
Was it like humid as hell when you guys were doing the bark mulch?
No, it wasn't. I mean, the second day it was. The first day it was like, that weird. It's hot, but it's like cloudy and kind of misty as well. Like, it'd be like sprinkling rain a little bit, but not enough that you get wet. And like the air is like sticky, but it wasn't like bad. The second day, though, it was in the afternoon. It was like, fuck, it's hot. Like it's hot. So just like jump in the pool. But it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, because we've had, like, out here has been we're just far enough apart, maybe. That's why I asked that we might be different. Out here was just the 2 days that we had sun or whatever. It was humid as fuck. It was like you go on the back deck and you try to breathe, and it's just there's no air. It's just all moisture. You're going outside, and it's like trying to breathe underwater. You're not going to be able to do it. It was sticky. The second day wasn't too bad. It was good enough that Em and I decided to go for a walk, get out the house, and go for a walk. And it didn't feel humid until we went out and we got into the woods, and then it was just fucking like bathing in it. She was sweating, and she said out loud when we were walking back to the house, she said, if I'm sweating, it must be fucking 6,000 ass degrees out here, because if I'm my ass from the Philippines, if I'm sweating, shit's real. And I said, it is, because I was drenched. I had a white shirt because I was like, oh, I'm going to reflect the sunlight and shit. I looked like a girl's gone wild, gone bad. I had just the titties fucking straight through the white shirt. I was drenched head to toe, sweat covering every orifice. It was terrible. Got back. We like passed out from like mild heat stroke on the couch. Woke up like a fucking hour later. But it was still nice. Like I'm still, any day that's not raining, my ass gets outside.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Whether I'm dying of heat stroke or not, I'm going outside. And so it was that. And then other than that, I finished my Monster Hunter Stories 2 review and the Legend of Mana review. Both those are done. Mana is up. Stories 2 is up in either, I'll probably post it tomorrow or Saturday. And then I'm in a bit of a lull. There's not really a lot of games popping right now. We're in a bit of a wait and see. There's a couple smaller like indie titles that could possibly be done, but it's a rare moment in this year in that there's not a lot coming up. We're getting close to that fall crazy, everyone release everything all at the same time. So I just have a little bit of downtime. So I've been using that as an extra excuse to get outside, get out the fucking house before you can't get out of the house anymore. and we're stuck inside, and then we'll play anything at that point. But until then, get the fuck out the house. So that was more or less my week. Oh, also, as Em and I's, it was our 2nd anniversary. We went out for dinner. That was our first time at a restaurant. So you just had your first time here. I think it was last week. Was it, or was it the week before? It was either last week or the week before that you said you and Kayla went out or something, or you went to eat somewhere.
No, we haven't.
No, you didn't? I thought you did. Maybe I just heard that you're saying you were going to or something.
Oh, yeah, I think we were going, my mom, we were going to go out, but
okay.
It didn't end up happening.
Yeah, so we went, we weren't in the building, we ate outside. It was down at this place called the Birch and Anchor. It's down on the Bedford Highway where the Chinese restaurant was there for like 50 fucking years, and now
I know where that's at.
Yeah, they're like, you go underneath
kind of like
the
goes
railway.
Down. Yeah, exactly. And the water's right there.
Yeah, nice spot actually, like really nice. I bet you the property's worth $50 trillion. The family that owns that land is probably just waiting to sell that bitch to a condominium corporation and make like $1 million bajillion dollars. But for now, went there. Food was It was all right, but it was a pretty spot, and so we had our first bite out. But we weren't brave enough to eat inside. We still stayed outside. But it was okay. The weather was just good enough to stay outside anyway. But other than that, that was my week. And now it's time to talk about some video games, Mr. Black. Updates on the Activision Blizzard stuff. Actually, not a hell of a lot this week, but a couple of points that popped up. The first thing is that we talked about last week about some sponsors starting to jump ship in the various Activision Blizzard realms. This week, State Farm pulled its ads from Overwatch League. Coca-Cola is now what they're calling revisiting plans with Blizzard, whatever the fuck that means. And T-Mobile has also apparently just up and disappeared. I didn't get any more information other than to say T-Mobile is gone. Maybe they are also revisiting plans. And we'll find out more. But those are three of arguably the biggest sponsors that I could think of for them. So that's not feeling so hot right now, but maybe they can convince Coke to stay around long enough to try one more time. One of the company's largest investment groups filed to say that they are not satisfied with how the company has responded to the lawsuit thus far and demanded leadership changes. I think when we were talking last week about who was going to be like getting the boot and whether or not Mr. Bobby Kotick should also be held under the same fire as some of these other folks that have been around for so long. This seems to be the first call from an investor group to have some higher people swapped out, because obviously they feel as though not all the blame could possibly be resting solely on all the way down the food chain. Somebody somewhere had to fucking make that call. So that's what they did so far. We'll see if more investment groups do the same. Wouldn't shock me. Now that one has done it, wouldn't shock me if we saw a couple of others doing it as well. Because you have to think, I mean, Activision Blizzard's fucking massive, so investment groups probably have a lot of money in this. And they've probably lost a few dollars so far.
Yeah.
If I'm
gonna be honest, I mean, I don't know. Let me see here. Activision.
It might not have gone very far right now. Did it bounce? Maybe it did the whole dip and then back up thing.
Yeah. No, it's gone up. It's actually gone up like 6.5% in the last week.
Was that after it dropped 6.5% the week before? Is that what that was?
It definitely went down.
Like what's its like 3-month trend?
It dropped as low as, well, it didn't drop that much. It dropped down to just under $80 a share. Now it's at 85.
Okay.
So it basically went from 90. It went down $10. So it went down a decent amount, but they actually went down a decent amount. It's starting to rebound now. I honestly, man, Activision's going to be fine.
Well, they're not going to fold or anything, but the investment companies are obviously going to call them up and be like, bruh.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be fine. Blizzard Activision's got so much goddamn money.
Swimming in it.
It is what it is. And if they tank hard enough, people are just going to jump right back in, and they're going to end up going right back up.
Well, that's why I asked it, did they bounce? Because, like, traditionally the first news will just tank it, and then people will sell out, and then they'll be like, all right, wait, and then just fucking buy right back in again.
They'll be fine.
But yeah, so that was one of the first investment group came out to say that. Other news for there was Diablo 4 director, and the lead level designer, as well as a World of Warcraft designer, all got let go this week. So that was more folks in the mid. Again, Blizzard, Activision has thus far seemingly been untouched. This seems to only be a Blizzard problem. This is not spread into Activision at all.
Well, they wanted to do that because, I mean, it saves face for Activision. Even though it's Blizzard, it's Activision Blizzard, which is one company.
Yeah.
What they're doing is they're basically going, hey, the company we bought, this is their problem, even though it's our problem, but the problem stems from what they did.
Skeletons in the closet, Mr. Black.
Now we're cleaning this out. We didn't really know it was this bad, even though we did. This is a Blizzard issue. This isn't necessarily an Activision, but since we are Activision Blizzard, we're gonna step in and start removing people, and that's the play they're doing. I haven't seen these guys come out and say, "Hey, Activision is the issue here." It's kind of like the play with Disney and Scarlett Johansson, where they're like, hey, she made $20 million. It's the same concept, right?
What a bitch.
It's like, hey, you guys have an issue here. She's calling you out on it, and you're trying to throw it back in their face. And what I feel like they're doing is they're just passing the buck on to the thing they picked up, right?
Oh, the best part of all this is how Bobby Kotick refuses to let anyone at Blizzard hold a C title. Like he wants to be the only CEO, but at the same time, so he wants all the ownership, but he wants none of the responsibility. It's the craziest shit. So they lost those guys. I'm sure there's more coming, but that's this week's losses. All related to Diablo, although not necessarily directly tied to the court case, was that Diablo 2 Resurrected, which is the remaster of the original Diablo 2, had its peer-to-peer connection feature removed quietly this week. They just updated the FAQ basically they had for the game as to what was actually going to be a part of this remake. Updated that to get rid of peer-to-peer, which more or less means that when this thing goes up for live games it will be Blizzard servers or bust. You're not going to get the ability to just connect to a friend and just play together that way. So if for whatever reason, if Blizzard just decides to stop supporting this game, you're fucked.
That's it.
That's the show, and people are also a little bit concerned that this might mean that they're also going to axe the service for the original Diablo 2, which is still running right now. And if that's the case, which then it would be doubly bad, because then you're really reliant on this to stick around. And if the StarCraft remaster, and more specifically the Warcraft remaster, is any indication, oh boy, buckle up. For whatever and that was before all this shit happened. Like those games were before all this was happening. I mean, it was happening in turn, but this is like blown this bitch wide open. So, I would maybe just keep your good memories of Diablo 2 and just don't even fucking think about whatever this remaster is going to be for now. And then if on the off chance it miraculously becomes something that's good, great. Otherwise, I wouldn't get your hopes up. Peripheral to that as well, Activision Blizzard confirmed that there are indeed 2 Warcraft mobile games in development at this time. They didn't say anything more than that. They just confirmed that some of the rumors, like our speculation, is true. That indeed they are getting a couple of mobile games out for World of Warcraft, or not World of Warcraft, sorry, just Warcraft specifically. Not shocking. That's probably where all of this is going. Blizzard will be churning out mobile games exclusively in the future. But for now, that confirms those 2 are in the works. Also, our first thing that we can watch today, Mr. Black, we talked last week, it came out miraculously before the podcast. Against all odds, the gods have blessed us, and it happened before the podcast. Battlefield put up that Exodus short film thing. It's only like 8 or so minutes, I think. And that's the storied content for 2042. And so we're going to give it a little peek-see here. We're going to see what they can toss together with all of their CGI might. See if they can get our attention. See if this is worth having spent money on. Which I'm going to say probably not, but we're going to find out. We're going to find out. You let me know when you're ready to go.
I'm all set.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go. I will say, the like to dislike ratio is at least in their favor. I recognize those radio sound things from the teaser stream they did.
As these non-patrioted call themselves, have become one of the world's largest factions, fighting not for country, but for survival.
I feel like this game is going to almost be too real given how the world is like falling apart right now. Oh, rip.
That briefcase is our ace card. Do not fail us, Captain.
Usually I know what I'm risking my neck for.
Usually, I don't exploit myself.
He sounds like a Bond villain. I expect you to die, Mr. Bond.
You are.
I'm appreciating the visuals right now. I know this is all CGI, but it's actually fucking really good.
Yeah.
Bukowski.
Hold up. That's a familiar face. What's his name? Holy shit.
I forget his name.
Oh, salty. Fuck, what is his name?
Irish. You traitor. Ugh. How much did the Nopads pay you to fuck over your own country?
My loyalty is with the refugees on this boat. That includes
Michael K. Williams, is that who it is?
Not sure. That doesn't sound from.
If you give Oz that case, that fucking terrorist will start World War III.
That's what they always say, Doc.
Yeah, it is
Do
him,
that
I
shit
think.
if you want to, but I know what I'm fighting for.
Yeah, it's him.
There you go.
You came back.
Always, big man. Hey, I got something for you.
Who's that?
Nobody. Head back downstairs now.
I know that's supposed to be, both of those guys are supposed to be characters that I recognize, but I haven't played Battlefield enough to remember anyone that's in the games.
America's got an experimental weapon that's about to fall out of the sky at these coordinates in 36 hours. They're desperate to recover their dirty little secret. If Russia
The dirty little
gets
secret.
it could spark a war.
Fuck.
Spark a war, there's no world to fight over. Fuck.
Bukowski was right.
Oz's men will be here any second.
Oh wait. Is the experimental weapon one that like changes the fucking weather? Is that how the storm comes to be?
On board. We don't have enough manpower. I don't think we have a choice.
Head straight into that storm.
That's a category 5, sir.
Nah. That's home field advantage.
Oh shit, that's like me crossing the fucking ocean going to Newfoundland in 9th grade. It's gonna be a pass from me. Huh?
Shit. I think they sense the deal's off.
You have the convo. Oz ain't taking this boat.
Irish, the storm is gonna kill us!
This storm's a fucking cavalry!
I've always wondered, like, I know the guys go through like crazy training, and engagements like this on boats and storms and shit have almost certainly happened at points. How in the fuck anyone knows who's on whose side? You're going out there, shit's dark, rain's everywhere, boats fucking all over the place, bright lights flashing in your face, dudes all running around with guns and shit, and you're supposed to know who's on your side and who's trying to kill you. He's aiming for the bushes right now.
I'm disappointed in you, Irish. I thought we were on the same team.
I can't get over how much he sounds like a Bond villain.
You know the Ronin were, Irish. They were warriors with no country, no cause. That's how they see us. The wild ones who forget we exist. Give us the intel, and we will force them to see.
You start this war. Millions of Nopads will die in the crossfire.
The price we pay for a new world.
Oh my god, they're out here killing children. Jeff, they're killing children! The dinosaur's on the ground! Oh no! Bait and switch! I've been M. Night Shyamalan. Oh, he did the classic! You know what that instantly made me think of? Fucking Tropic Thunder or whatever, when he's getting shot, it's like 5 minutes of just... His number would be 42.
History will remember this, Irish.
And so will I. Only one way to stop this war. And that's to get in the middle of it. Put a call out to any notepad who will listen.
36 hours to Doha. Get ready to fight!
No Pat. So I'm guessing just people flying no flag. Has the world come to that point? Making a call to the political centrists. No. Get ready to fight. There you go. That's all you're getting. That's the Exodus short film. That is the story behind 2042 and how all this is kicking off. Mr. Black, how'd you feel about that?
I mean, it did nothing for me, man. I'm gonna be honest. Like,
what if they killed the kid, though?
That still would have done nothing.
All right. Okay. I just need to make sure. I had to make sure.
I mean, it's fine. Like, it's graphically, it was impressive. I mean, the acting is good. I mean, it was like watching a cutscene for the opening of the game, and then that's it. I mean, is that supposed to get me amped up? Like, the thing is when I'm playing an online multiplayer game, I'm not playing it because I care about the story. I'm playing it for the deathmatch. I'm not like, am I supposed to be invested in this story? And now I'm gonna go and fight in a battlefield, and I'm gonna get no story progression or payoff at all. It's just gonna be like lobby deathmatch. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm not complaining that this is here. I mean, it's a nice piece of content, and I guess it adds something for the I think this is more of a, hey, this is really cool, buyer game. I think this is more of like, hey, this is, buyer game type thing. It can even be a bit of a bait and switch, because in there, at the end, it doesn't tell you that the game is multiplayer only. People might watch this thinking that they're going to be able to continue this story arc and get invested, and they realize the game is just multiplayer, that there's no campaign at all.
Yeah. I think so. I agree with. I mean, it didn't do anything for me. I think the only thing that it does, that people get excited about, maybe, is that they're seeing a character return that they've seen in the past. So if there's somebody who is invested in Battlefield lore, then that services them. I think for everyone else, it's just a really pretty cutscene, and it was. I mean, it was visually very impressive. Everything about it was very impressive. It looked good. It sounded good. It was well acted. Yep. Everything about it was great. I could continue. If you were going to sit me down and you had 40 more minutes of that and you were going to call it a mini movie, I'd probably watch that shit. Like, it was good enough for that. But in the context of the game, I mean, I'm not like you. I'm not playing Battlefield because I'm deeply invested in whatever lore Battlefield has built up. Just like even when I played the Call of Duty campaigns, like, I played them, but it wasn't like, oh my god, I need to see Captain Price and I need Thope. I need them all to be there and happy, and we can be happy together. I didn't need any of that. I just needed to be a good multiplayer experience, and if the campaign was there, if it's even remotely fun, then great. So, yeah, I mean, it looked good. I don't think it even, what's funny though is that it was supposed to be, the placeholder for whatever loose story was going to be the driver for the multiplayer experience. It didn't really tell me a hell of a lot, to be honest.
Well, it said that the only thing there was is like they're using a storm as a weapon. So, he said it's their storm. So I'm assuming, maybe that's how you get them in games where it's kind of like Call of Duty where you get so many kills, you get one of those like kill streak things and you can make a storm in an area. Very possible.
Some loose connections that we're going to have to make because it didn't really like directly give you much.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the only way that thing does anything for me is, and it wouldn't because I'm still not that invested into it, but if they said at the end of this, the campaign is happening on this date or whatever, or, the game is, multiplayer and campaign October 22nd, 2021, then, if you really enjoyed the video, it might get you excited to go buy the game and kind of see where the story goes, like what's going on. But if this is it, it's just a pretty trailer.
Maybe they've got more of these trailers that they're going to plop in.
Don't give them that much credit.
I don't know. Okay, so here, honestly, didn't do anything for me. Doesn't make me any more excited for the game. I'm still looking forward to the game to see how it plays because I would love to have another shooter that does well that I can get. I play Cold War Call of Duty now. I don't even touch Warzone. Fuck a Warzone. It's broken. It's hacker laden bullshit. Fuck all that. So I'm playing Cold War multiplayer exclusively now if I'm going to be playing anything remotely like that. And so anything that comes up that can do well, whether that's Halo Infinite in the same, in the fall, winter months, or if it's this, I'm happy. I'm also not somebody that gives a fuck if it's full price because I'm going to be real. Anyone that complains about being full price, I'm just going to be dead fucking fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Take the $60, $70, wrap it around a cactus very carefully, and then insert it sideways up your ass. And this is why. Because if you're going to fucking tell me that the 400 fucking goddamn hours you are likely to put into any of the multiplayer games that you've ever played in the past for these shooters, whether that's Call of Duty or otherwise, if you think that that's not worth $60, go fuck yourself. You're putting so much time into this shit. And if they're not going to give you a 6-hour campaign and that's the hill you're going to die on, I think you're just fucking bullshitting for the sake of just wanting free shit because you've been spoiled and people have been cranking out free shit that other people have been buying battle passes and skins and shit and funding your fucking freeloading ass to play the game for free. You're just spoiled. You're a spoiled bitch. So if you're going to play this game and you're going to play it for like a minimum multiplayer games, unless you hate it, in which case, I don't know, fucking return it or just be sad about it or just don't buy it until you know you're going to enjoy it because everyone's going to stream it. You're going to fucking know ahead of time. You're going to play this for like 100+ hours. Don't bitch about $60. Don't pay $60 and then buy a bunch of battle pass shit and still complain about the price. Just stop complaining about like every time somebody says, "Oh, it's just multiplayer." As if that made the game really easy to make and it cost no money and there was no development time and so it should be like a $5 game or some shit. Come the fuck on. That's just silly. If you don't want to spend the money on it, don't. Halo's going to be free.
I'm not going to spend the money on it because I don't think it's going to be worth $70, $80.
And that's fair.
So I'm not spending it. If the game was free to play, I'd install it. I'd try it out. But it's not free to play. There is no campaign. Which I think I'd probably put more hours into than online. And Battlefield's last couple of games have a dog shit track record. So I'm not going to go defense for these guys.
I'm not defending the game. I just hate when people are like, "Oh, it's full price for multiplayer only." Like the people that say that are the ones spending 200 hours on the 6-hour campaign. That never fucking happens. The people buying these games just like they buy regular Call of Duty, like Cold War, playing multiplayer right now. They play the campaign once maybe twice, and then they spend hundreds and hundreds of hours in the multiplayer. That is by far the lion's share of the reason anyone buys any of these games is multiplayer. Very few, I'm not going to say none, very few people are buying Battlefield or Call of Duty because of the campaign and the campaign alone. Like 1% or less of the total people that are buying the game are going, oh my god, I can't wait for the campaign, and then ignore multiplayer and never play it. Like, that's not what they're buying the game for. So it just kills me when that's like the hill people are dying on for this game, is it doesn't have the 6-hour, 8-hour campaign or whatever. It's like, this isn't The Last of Us. You're not buying the game for the campaign. It's not a single player campaign. It's not a single player experience. It's a multiplayer experience they dump all this time into to give you this experience. If you want a free to play game, there's options for that shit. Like Splitgate just is out. I think that's the name of it right now. The Portal gun shooter that's been doing relatively well. You've got Warzone that's going to perpetually be a thing. You've got lots of free to play options. But
yeah, I just think people have an expectation.
Well, they expect free now.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, people. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's,
yeah.
I mean, that is because that is what the industry has given people for so long, and they've given out quality at free. The problem is when you're putting out mediocre stuff and it's not free, people are much more vocal. If the shit is amazing, then yeah, it's worth the fucking money.
Well, any game, if it's shit's not worth $60, whether it's multiplayer only or not. If a game is shit, then it's definitely not worth $60.
Yeah, but I mean, the last couple Battlefield games were shit, right? So that's probably why people are like, it's just one of those things.
Well, if they gave them a campaign and multiplayer and it was full price and it was still shit, does it matter? It's still a shit game that nobody's going to want to buy.
Well, of course it still matters, but at least you're getting more
like
play. You're gonna
consolation prize.
Yeah, it actually is a consolation prize. I mean,
even if the campaign's shit.
I mean, dude, it is what it is.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Because if it's shit, if it's a shit game, it's a shit game. Whether it's multiplayer only or not, it's a shit game.
Okay. You're right.
So yes.
You're right. Yeah. My bad.
Well, I just don't understand what the difference is. Whether it had no campaign or campaign. If it's shit and it's not worth $60 because it's shit because their history has been shit.
You can play that side for anything in the world.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, if it's shit, you don't buy it.
It's okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you make a habit of buying shit things?
No, that's why I'm not buying Battlefield. Because it's $60. Because it's been dog shit for the last several years. If it was free to play, I'd be playing it.
And if it turns out that everyone's rave reviews and it's an amazing game, do you buy it for $60 then, or do you just?
For me, probably not, because I'm not going to spend the time to play it. But I'd be far more likely to give it a shot if everybody's like, "Oh my god, this is amazing." Then yeah, sure. But it is what it is. But that's just it. I mean, listen, dude. There's not many first-person shooters that come out with non-campaign that is full price. It's rare. I actually can't think of really one that has done that at full price and there's no campaign at all. Can you name me one? I don't know.
No, I believe this is the first time.
So is it weird that people are complaining that they're not getting a campaign when they've been used to getting a campaign forever?
I think it's weird to say that the game isn't worth full price just because it doesn't have the campaign, just because it's historically there.
I don't think that's the argument. I think the argument is they've fallen flat on their face the last few Battlefields, and on top of that, they're not even getting a campaign, and it's full price. So people are going, what the fuck? It's full what? And then they're releasing a video, and this is your consolation prize. That's why people are complaining. I mean, listen, if I went to the movie theater and every single time I went to the movie theater, there were absolutely no previews and I got, free, or for example, if I went to movie theaters, there are no trailers. And then on top of that, when I buy popcorn and a pop, I get the movie ticket for free. So I go in there, I buy the popcorn and pop, I get a movie ticket. And then all of a sudden they're saying, hey, new movie's coming out. Hey, unfortunately, when you buy your popcorn and pop, you're not getting a free movie ticket anymore. Oh, and there's trailers. So the people go, okay, well, the movie I'm going to see, is it really worth the movie ticket and the popcorn and whatever stuff? Well, the last couple ones, they weren't so hot. So if you think I'm going to pay the movie ticket and the concessions, and I'm going to sit and watch your trailers, I don't think so, because they've been used to that forever. So for somebody to then go, you're switching up the formula, which has never been switched up before, and you have a horrible track record, and it's full price, and you're in a very competitive market. Oh, and Halo is free to play. Oh, and that's coming out very soon. They have a right to complain. And I think calling them, if that's what you believe, and then you're just going to call them complete fucking idiots and crybabies and morons and idiots for thinking that way, I just think you're the idiot, if I'm going to be honest. And
that's fair.
I think they have.
That's fair.
I think they have a reason to complain. If the game is amazing and it's $60 or $80, then they're going to go, shit, now I got a decision to make. All my friends are playing this game. There's no campaign. If it's amazing.
So really it hinges.
Fantastic.
So when you say
play
that, it doesn't hinge on whether or not it has campaign. It really just hinges on whether or not it's good.
If the game is good. But the thing is they have a bad track record. And nobody else has done this before.
Right.
And there's free to play everywhere at the same quality.
Sure.
So to have people complain that I'm not into this, this is fucking dumb, I'm not going to spend $60, they have a valid argument. If they get proven wrong and they go out and buy it, well, congratulations, Battlefield. You did exactly what you want to do. You want to charge people for your game, and you've created great. They're going to go out and buy it. But if they're hesitant to go and buy the game, they're not idiots for saying that. They're not idiots for feeling that way. It's what they've been conditioned to forever.
I'm not talking about hesitancy based on track record. It's the people, calling out specifically the people that are only drilling down on it's not worth $60 because it doesn't have a campaign. Those people aren't having a conversation about track records and quality and anything else. They only say, how are you going to drop this game for full price with no campaign? And that's the hill they die on. That's who I'm talking to.
Well, I think it's a valid argument. I think it's a valid
all arguments are valid.
I think it's a valid argument, and I don't think that's the only reason. I think that is an easy out for them to say, I'm not paying for this. It doesn't even come with a campaign. I just think it's what they're using as an argument. But the reality is that's how I feel. If you're not even going to give me a campaign, and you've been releasing shit for years, you're not getting my fucking money. You're really not getting my money.
If they were going to campaign, you weren't going to buy it anyway.
Probably not. Be honest, probably not.
Because
but
of the.
But it's a valid. It's a
valid record.
Argument. It's a valid argument to say, listen, you most certainly listen. If there's a chance I'm buying this game and there's no campaign, I'm not paying for it. Listen, Call of Duty has no matter what you think, whether the online play is horse shit, dog shit, filled with hackers, whatever. The reality is, every time Call of Duty comes out with a game, the campaigns are amazing. They're just great. They're good. So when I buy Call of Duty, I always play the campaigns. Because I'm at least getting that out of it. Listen, if the online play sucks, I'm going to at least play the campaign. If there's no campaign, I'm really going to think to myself, do I really want to buy this game if it's full price and it's online? Sometimes yes, depending on how many of my friends are buying it or what's out at the time. But it would be very, very tough for me in this day and age to buy a Call of Duty at full price knowing it's only multiplayer. I'm probably not going to buy it. But if the campaign comes out and it looks great, then yeah, I might actually just buy it simply for the campaign. I'll fucking throw some hours into online. If it sucks, I won't feel as bad because I got play out of it and I enjoyed the experience. I think a lot of people feel that way.
Well, if they feel that way, if they enjoy the campaign. But if they don't enjoy the campaign, then they complain all the same. They'll say, oh, it was a short campaign and it was bad. In fact, they did that, like you said, because of their track record for the last couple of Battlefield games. So from Battlefield's development perspective, they're looking at the numbers going, all right, well, the majority of people sticking around that are spending money on our game are the ones that stick around and play just nothing but multiplayer, and they don't complain about the campaign, or maybe they do, but they don't give a shit because they're playing multiplayer exclusively. The number of people that are only buying this because it has a campaign is not an enormous amount of people. They're taking a calculated risk in that regard, in that they know that there are more people only playing Battlefield for the multiplayer and not for the campaign. And if they're buying it only for the campaign, it's a tiny portion. Certainly less than Call of Duty. Call of Duty has always been more invested in their campaigns than Battlefield has. So yeah, all I'm hearing from this is that it comes down to two things. Ultimately, their track record. If it's not just about whether or not it has a campaign, it's ultimately because the track record in the last couple have been dog shit, which they have been. They've been terrible, categorically fucking failures. They failed. They didn't even make it out of the first month. They failed so hard. So if you can't even get it outside of 4 weeks, you're in some serious shit. So bad track record the last few times up the bat, and that's already giving people a bunch of hesitancy. So if the game is really, really good, whether or not it has the campaign, it's still going to be, for a lot of people, a wait and see. There's not a lot of people about to hop right into this bitch and give them money whether it has a campaign or not, based on the fact that the last 2 or 3 times up to bat have not been good. And so for them, if they're going to shift all of their development power into only the multiplayer, which is where people spend the majority of their time anyway, and they know that whether they make a campaign or not, because of the last 2 times up, they have to hit a home run or it fails regardless, whether there's a campaign there or not. For them, why would they spend the time to do that? And then from the people on the other side, I can't understand why people would jump down their throats so hard when it comes to the fact that the vast majority, again, I'm not saying that there aren't, but I would bet my life that it is less than 10% of the people playing the game are playing it solely for the campaign or making a purchase decision based on the campaign, and the rest are basing it on, do my friends have it, and is the multiplayer fun? And that's what people are buying these games for. And so if they smash it and it's a home run, whether it's $60 or not going to make a fucking difference. The game is going to sell. And if they had a campaign and the game wasn't fun, they're not going to sell shit anyway. So people were going to jump down their neck with the campaign, without a campaign.
It depends if the campaign's good, right? If the campaign's amazing, people will buy the game for the campaign. If the campaign sucks and the online sucks, then they're just not going to buy it, right? If the game has mediocre reviews, right? They're like, okay, yeah, the campaign's amazing, but the multiplayer's You can find some enjoyment out of it, but it's nothing great. I mean, that's enough to sway probably the majority of people. I would think, or at least in my point.
You think that if the multiplayer wasn't so hot, but the campaign was good, that would sell as many copies as the campaign being included and not being.
I didn't say as many, but it would sway a lot of people.
You said the majority.
I think the majority of people would want to play the game, would give it a chance. If it was like, hey, the online play sucks ass, it's garbage.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
Yeah,
the campaign's amazing. I think they don't sell as much. I think if the online play is serviceable, it's okay. It's got a few problems, but the campaign's amazing. I think they win over the majority of people that are willing to spend $60. It's. I don't think it's just one or the other. I think for some it's one or the other. I think you're right. The majority of people are playing it for the online play, but when you have a great campaign, you feel like you're getting added value. And if you're on the fence and the campaign's amazing, well, then why not? At least I'm going to spend $60 and get a good, 8, 10, 12-hour campaign out of it. And then if the multiplayer is mediocre, I'm only going to put 30, 40 hours into it instead of 300 or 400. At least I'm getting my money's worth. I think that's what that's the way I would look at it. If it's fucking garbage online, I ain't buying the game, period. Because I'm not buying the game. Like you say, it's simply for the fact that the campaign is good, or if it's not there. So it's not getting my money.
No. Well, we'll see just how good it is when it arrives. We know one thing for certain, and we agree on this. It has to be a home run. Whether it had a campaign or not, it has to be a home run. Because they have no other choice. This is their third strike. This is their third time up. And they can't be fucking batting zeros on this bad boy, because otherwise I think Battlefield is just dead. And I don't know how you resurrect it. It's the same for Halo. They're in the same boat and they're coming out in the same year. They got
Well,
two.
Halo. The pressure isn't on Halo as much as it is Battlefield. Halo's free to play, so they're
Well, that covers them a bit. Yeah.
That covers them more than a bit. If Halo was $60 or $80 to buy in, they're in trouble.
I still think Halo has to be fucking incredible though, to become relevant again.
Yeah.
Whether it was free or not.
I think so too, but I don't think it has to be as incredible as Battlefield because it's free to play. I think Halo needs to be a little bit better than mediocre. It needs to be a good experience. Doesn't need to be the perfect game. Battlefield is going to have to become damn near perfect if they want to have longevity, especially with Halo coming out. Dude, this is the same demographic.
Do you think that Battlefield coming out in a similar window to Halo, where Halo was free and Battlefield's paid, is actually going to be
it's going to hurt them,
beneficial for Halo?
100%. I mean, it's not beneficial for either because you don't want to compete regardless if it's free or not. But it's definitely more beneficial for Halo than it is for Battlefield. Because Battlefield's got to go up against Halo. The only good thing about that Battlefield has against Halo is Halo also has a bad track record. So if the game ain't good and people are looking for a reason to hate Halo, they will find it and they will hate it. But also equally, people are looking for a reason to love Halo again. And if the game comes in good, Battlefield is going to die very quickly. I'm going to tell you.
I agree. I agree. If Halo comes out and hits a home run, and Battlefield comes out and only hits like a double, and they're charging full price for it, then that's going to be a hell of a hill for them to climb. But if they both come out and they're only kind of then I think it's a wash. I think it just comes down to like fan base at that point. But this is definitely an opportunity that Halo might not have even thought it had at first, is that they're getting into a time where everyone's hating on Warzone. Hackers are fucking insane. Everyone's screaming and leaving Warzone. Every streamer's going back to Apex. Nobody can fucking take the shit anymore on Warzone. And they're getting into this opportunity now where they've got this window to go up against another giant that everyone is waiting to see if they can jump ship to that. But it's full price. But Halo's not. So that was definitely not in their game plan, but this might actually be something that will work dramatically in their favor. They'll have a whole bunch of people looking for a place to go, and they're going to obviously go free before they go pay to play. And if it's really good, then that might just be like a fuck show for Battlefield, who is already, admittedly, whether the game is good or not, going to have a hill to climb because it's full price, for better or worse.
Battlefield needs to hit a grand slam. And Halo needs to hit a triple. That's it. If Battlefield hits a home run, the game's still dead in a month. It's dead. It's gonna die.
Even with a home run?
With a home, it needs a grand slam.
Okay.
It needs a grand slam. All the bases need to be loaded.
Okay.
It needs to come down to the final pitch.
So what are the bases in this? Do you know what the bases are for this to be a grand slam?
The game needs to be orgasmic. It literally needs to basically. It needs to come in and be everything that Battlefield should be, and then more.
Okay,
that's what they need to do.
Can you make this? Can you make this a sex analogy for me? I think that's what really going to top it up. What is it for Battlefield? This is the first date. You're on a Tinder date. You're going back. You've been invited in. What needs to happen for this to turn over?
I mean, if I'm on a Tinder date, she needs to pick me up for the date. She's got to be driving.
Wow.
She got to be driving like a Lamborghini Urus or whatever the fuck those things are.
Okay. So she's an executive.
She needs to pay.
She's a boss woman.
Yep.
Okay.
She needs to pay.
Okay. All right.
And she needs to know your favorite place to eat. She needs to then, book you some flights to the most exotic place ever, first class, and you need those seats that you can lay down in, essentially.
Your own pod.
You need to get all of the sexual favors when it comes to there needs to be the best foreplay of your life.
We're not talking about the finish the blue balls hand job special.
No, it needs to be something great. And then just before you get down to business, she needs to basically say, hey, I invited a couple of friends over. They're coming over right now. Can you hold off?
They also drive
Right.
Lamborghinis and are paying for the food.
You know, and then it needs to get down to business. And then she needs to ask you, essentially, you know, do you want to continue this relationship or should we just never speak again? And you have the full option to say yes or no at the end of that.
Okay.
That's pretty much what needs to happen.
That's
right?
a steep hill.
That's almost impossible. That's
All
what
right.
I'm trying to say.
So
right?
now
If
what's Halo's then? What does Halo need then?
Halo basically needs
What's Halo's Tinder date looking like?
Halo's Tinder date is basically it's your birthday.
Okay.
All right. You get ice cream cake. You get the beach. You get sushi. And you get to bed at a reasonable good time and you get a full 8 hours sleep. That's what Halo needs to do.
Okay.
And you know what? Even if you get 4 hours sleep, you had such a good night last night, you're willing to just continue on with your day.
Okay.
Right? So Halo, you're not asking for much, right? It's like it's a once a year thing. It's your birthday. It's once a year you get this treatment. What Battlefield needs to do is just out of this world. It's ridiculous. You can't expect somebody to do that for you. It's ludicrous. It's insane. Right? If it happens, you're like, what the fuck just happened? That was a unicorn. And oh my God, that was the single greatest experience of my life. And oh, I was dreaming, so it wasn't even real. That's what Battlefield needs to do at this point. I'm sorry. At a $60 price, at a full-blown price tag, if I were to buy that game, that shit's costing me like $90 Canadian. That shit needs to do amazing numbers. Now, if Halo wasn't coming out for another year, it'd be a different story. Shit is coming out soon.
They're within a month and a half, 2 months of each other, more or less.
And it's free. You're in trouble. You're in trouble. Like what's Halo's campaign thing like?
That doesn't come until sometime next year.
Okay, but we're getting it.
Yes. It's
You
separate.
know?
It's separate from. They're separating it from the multi. They're taking a quasi Call of Duty Warzone Plus
Yes.
main thing. It's similar, not exactly this, but similar.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, at least we got a campaign coming. Gets people a little bit more invested.
I mean, Halo definitely needs. I mean, the people. If we're talking about expectations, Halo without a campaign would be dead.
One. Yeah, it needs one.
Yeah.
And it's coming, right? So Battlefield needs all the help in the world. I don't care how fancy of a trailer, short film, 9-minute short film you make. I don't care. The game needs to be transcending. It needs to be like out-of-body experience good for this thing to have legs. Now, I'm not saying it needs to be out-of-body experience good to make money, because it's going to make money. Their campaigns are great. They're good at marketing. You know, EA knows what they're doing. But for it to have legs and longevity, and it's full price, you need to get picked up for that Tinder date. And it needs to go as follows. If not, that's the show. Because there are so many people, like the ones that ain't going to pay $60. I ain't it. The ones that want the campaign ain't it. The ones that want both ain't it. And the ones that look at the track record, it ain't it. Not for 60. If it was free, I'm downloading that shit first day. I'm playing it.
Oh, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for everyone else on Twitch to make that fall. I'll watch some shit first, see how the first little bit goes, because I'm similar. The track record ain't it.
It ain't it.
It just ain't it.
It ain't it. And at the very least, with Halo, if you're paying full price for a campaign and it's got multiplayer, it's actually the game where you go, hey, at least I'm getting my money's worth with the campaign.
I unfortunately didn't feel that way after Halo 3. Pretty much all the campaigns, I was kind of salty.
See, I enjoyed all the Halo campaigns. I enjoyed them. I wasn't as diehard or whatever, so I enjoyed them. So Halo is one of those games that if it came out for $60 and it's got the campaign and it's got online multiplayer and the online multiplayer actually looks good, which this one actually looks good. It's kind of won me over a little bit. I'm paying the money. I'm paying it.
Oh, this Halo, that's the other thing for them right now is Halo's flight test went well.
Yeah.
I bet you internally at EA they were going, please God.
Where's Battlefield's flight test?
Please die. And it didn't.
Where is Battlefield's flight test?
That'll be probably a month before the game comes out, and they'll have a beta, and it will probably go up in flames. If every other beta of every other game that's almost ever happened in the last half decade, if that's the same. Let's put it this way. The last game on Earth that we need to hear, we didn't expect this many people to show up to play on day one. If this is the last game on Earth that needs to hear it for the fans, Battlefield would be it. Overbuy. Waste your money. Buy too much server capacity. And claw that bitch back later. Don't start on the low end and be like, oh, we'll have lots day one and then it will slowly roll off, so we'll save a couple. No, fuck that. You need to have you need to have a personal phone call conversation with Bill Gates to get in a good word, to get every fucking Microsoft server spun up to power Battlefield 2042, whether you need it or not. And make sure that bitch is, just like you said, from day one. Smooth! Baby's ass smooth. They have no room for error. Because again, it is $60. But if it's good, it's obviously worth $60 because of the amount of time people are going to be pumping into that bitch. Be crazy.
Well, really, how much time are they going to be pumping? Halo's coming around the corner. That's the thing, right? You spend $60. Halo comes out, it's the same demographic.
Do you know gamers, bro? These bitches don't sleep anymore. These guys are prestiged 5 times in the first 17 minutes.
I do know gamers, and I do know that they latch on to one game. And listen, they might play Battlefield for a month, but once Halo comes out, that's the show. If Halo's good, man, they drop in Battlefield like a bad habit. And I guarantee you, as soon as the bots start coming in for Battlefield, people are checking the fuck out of that game. And it's going to happen much quicker than what people think. Game is going to be dead within 30 days.
What about bots for Halo? Because it's free. It's probably going to happen faster.
Say what?
So what about the bots for Halo? Because it's free. It'll happen faster.
No, I'm talking about bots as in the fake players that
that's what I mean.
Put in the game.
No, well, they both have that. Halo and they both have AI opponents.
In the multiplayer?
Yes. Yeah.
In a deathmatch, they have bots.
I believe they fill similar, like it's a similar thing where they backfill with players as it goes. It won't be to the degree of Battlefield because they have to fill a 100 whatever players server or some shit. But yes, Halo, that's what like half the flight or 3/4 of the flight test we're testing all of Halo's shit.
It's a test when the game comes out.
And then they did PvP afterwards.
Yeah, when the game comes out and people are playing online in PvP, there ain't going to be bots in Halo. They're going to have a fake Halo Master Chiefs running around shooting people in a deathmatch. It's going to be player versus player. Battlefield's going to be bots. It's going to be fake players. This is a fucking joke. It's going to be fake players in a Battlefield game. No. Dead in 30 days. I'm calling it out. It will be the moment Halo comes out, Battlefield is going to drop so hard that they better pray they made all their money within the time that Halo comes out. They better pray Halo gets delayed till next year.
That's actually possible, though.
They better fucking pray to God. And they better pray their servers are good.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
People they're putting in the game too. My God.
That's what I'm saying. Like you better no time. There's like how every time they launch a multiplayer game, what's the same public announcement? We didn't expect this many people to be behind our game on day one. Oops, sorry, we're spinning up more. No, overspend. Burn your money. Burn it like you've never burned it before. Spin up all the servers. All of them. Take whatever you think is going to happen, add 30% to it, and push that number out the door. Take an engineering perspective. Take the maximum capacity that you expect. Fuck that. Add 30% and yeet that shit out the door on launch day. And then worry about whether or not you burnt your money later on. You need to get behind this game like you know it's going to be a success. It needs every ounce of everything you've got. And if they pull it off, it successfully resurrects a franchise that's been dead for basically nearly 10 years. It gives Call of Duty actual competition to maybe give a fuck, which would be nice. And then we got Halo. Imagine, we're going back to like 2005, Jet. We're going to have the holy trinity of first-person shooters. You got Halo, Battlefield, and Call of Duty. That covers the largest swath of first-person shooter gaming bliss for the market. And if all three of them are banging it off at the same time, like the amount of competition would be wonderful. We might actually have progress in video games for the first time in like 10 fucking years. It'd be incredible. So let's hope maybe, even if we don't buy it, let's hope that it doesn't completely fail so that it at least lights some semblance of a fire under somebody else's ass to make their games better. That would be ideal. You know what else would be ideal? If the people in Germany used NordVPN, Mr. Maximus Black. And we got a promo code. It's promo code OTT. And you're going to want to use it too. You know why? Because currently, Twitch is unfortunately blocking pretty much everyone there from viewing VODs, highlights, and clips, because in Germany they've got this thing that's nicknamed the Facebook Act, which is also named Netz with a Z, DG, which is a law that was put in place, as the Facebook Act might imply, where they were trying to clamp down on hateful content, so hate speech and fake news. That's pretty much 90% of Facebook's entire existence are those two things that they're trying to clamp down on, and it just so happened to unfortunately spill over into Twitch's universe. And companies have like 20, I think it's a tight time, it's 24 hours to get rid of the shit. And so with the amount of video content that Twitch has going up on a daily basis, Twitch ain't got 24 hours to fucking comb through that shit to make sure little Tommy and Susie didn't accidentally drop an N-bomb, Mr. Black. That shit can't happen. So they just blocked all of it. They carpet bombed that shit top to bottom. So the only thing that you can do is apparently hope that an incognito window might work, and if not, use a VPN, NordVPN, promo code OTT. Get your discount today. Until they have a better solution. I don't think that's Twitch's ideal situation. I suspect they're working on a better solution than fucking all of the video that's not live. That's not a good look. That doesn't help them at all. But for now, that's kind of what they have to do. So that's an interesting random little tidbit from Twitch this week. Another thing I didn't have written down here from Twitch is that apparently they're axing links to gambling-related shit. Like, specifically, they call out roulette or some shit, or slot machines.
Don't know.
Or something along those lines. So they're looking at that. I don't know if that includes a Linktree shit, because we all know what Linktree has come with these days. Plethora of stuff, but that was also coming out this week.
Their thing was more of these shady, non-regulated casinos. I think that's what they're hammering down on, or trying to hammer down on.
We don't have specifics about that yet. I don't think,
because they were super fucking vague.
Yeah.
And the reality is, man, if they want to get crazy, I mean, the amount of gambling that goes on in video games, and these online, just opening packs, all this, where is the line, so
I think that's why you have to like make sure that people enforce things like labeling their content appropriately, like 18 plus and shit.
Exactly.
That's how you legally free yourself of that stuff and just look.
Exactly. Listen, people are gonna do what they're gonna do, right?
Yeah.
And it's just that simple. But if I don't know, it was ultra vague. I think there's just a lot of heat right now because there are streamers that are winning millions of dollars doing slot machines. And
that shit's hard to regulate. Like the stuff where obviously they're not winning millions of dollars and shit. It's similar to the CSGO like scandal. I think Twitch is maybe a little bit, timid about it because of like the shitstorm that kicked up. Yeah. So I suspect they're trying to come up with something to skirt that.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen is they're just going to require people to be part of real regulated casinos, and not these backdoor sites that are, getting streamers to promote their sites. Whether they're legit or not, I believe that they are. It's a casino. I mean, you're gambling, and you put money on these things that you gamble, but who knows? Maybe they're just getting a lot of heat because a lot of people are complaining that, there are tons and tons of streams now. Some of the biggest streams on Twitch are gambling streams.
Yeah.
And it's not just gambling, it's gambling at astronomical, like $1,000 spins.
Yeah.
Like speed
Big
spinning $1,000, like
money.
it's nothing, right? Like, and hey, it's entertainment. It's what they're doing. I have nothing. I don't have anything.
Do they have to disclose if they're getting like house money on this shit? Because some partnerships.
Sure. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure they do. And I'm almost certain that they do say that. I mean, I've watched some of these.
I've never watched them, so I don't know. I actually don't know.
They're entertaining, and they are very open with, they call them top-ups or reloads or something, where like the site, if you spend so much money, the site gives them a kickback for promoting, but then they just, kind of re-gamble that back, and then of course they get a kickback if somebody signs up with them. But I never looked into it. I'm with Party Poker, and I mainly play poker.
Yeah.
So I dabble in the slots once in a while, but I don't get paid to do. They're not giving me money to play on the slot machine.
No.
I don't get a kickback. I don't get. I just do it because people find it entertaining.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I'll play Crazy Time or put up a slot machine while I'm playing poker. But
the hosts that they have for Crazy Time fucking kill me.
It's entertaining, man. I'll admit it. Like, I like going to casinos and watching people gamble. It's a form of entertainment. It's dangerous, and I think as long as the streamers let people know that, hey, there's the danger in doing this activity, it's up to them. If it's 18 plus, obviously if you're sponsored to play and you're getting free slot machine money, you might want to tell people, hey, I'm not actually spending my money. You should probably do that ethically. But outside of that, it is what it is. But
Yeah.
this is Twitch doing what Twitch does, where they're not really putting their foot down. They're saying something very vaguely so that they can pick and choose who they want to punish. And then when people make up enough stink about it, then they'll come down and they'll say this or that, right? So, but they did specifically say something about roulette, slot machines. I think that was it.
I think those are the two that I saw. Were those two specifically?
I don't know why roulette. And dice games. I think they said something about dice.
Oh, really? Yeah. Maybe it's maybe they're frowning on like the specific one-off gambling games where you're just like, put money on one thing and just like roulette or
like chance,
chance games.
Like they're not because Twitch poker is a big thing.
Yeah,
like,
I don't think
it's behind poker.
Poker is technically gambling, but it's not the same as going to a slot machine
exactly, and just playing chance. You know what I mean? Like it is still gambling.
It still needs to be. Yeah, it still needs to be labeled mature. It still needs to have all the regulate, but it's not the same as a one-armed bandit kind of stream where you just sit there and pull the fucking lever for 9 hours straight.
Exactly.
Which also sounds like a great my free cam site is pull your lever for 9 hours straight if you can. It's a lot of endurance, but if you can make it happen, I'm sure there's some money in it. Oh, there was another thing. Twitch. This hasn't thankfully happened to you yet. You have experienced all manner of racism, but you haven't gotten this yet. Have you seen some of these minority streamers getting bot raided with these with a bunch of bot accounts? So they raid with a bunch of bot accounts and just fills the chat with just like like fuck you, N-word monkey type shit, and it just just fucking fills the whole chat up, and it's literally just a bot raid. That's
I've never seen it.
You didn't see that?
No.
So a bunch of people have been experiencing it more and more recently. It was all over Twitter the last couple of days, and Twitch actually had an official response to it here. I think it was yesterday. It was either today or yesterday that the response happened, where there's like massive holes in their security where this was being allowed to happen, and it was just like constant for some of these minority streamers, just like these usually small on the smaller side to medium-sized streams. getting these bot raids come in and just going nuts. And it's like hundreds of accounts all saying the same shit, all spamming the same stuff. The names are friggin' racist. What they're saying is racist.
What's wrong with people, man? Like, what the fuck is wrong with people, man? Like, who is the person that is sitting behind, like, orchestrating?
First of
this
all,
stuff?
you
Like,
know it's a dude. You know it's a dude because I promise you it's not a girl doing the shit. That shit just does that. They don't go that route. They don't play that ball. And you know what, Jeff? Some people, they're not like me. They don't handle having a really extraordinarily small penis all that well, and they have to take their anger out somehow. And so this seems to be the route that they're taking their small pee-pee energy out on other people, is to go this route. It is crazy.
Mind-boggling.
And it really is mind-boggling. They had the time to even do that shit.
Seriously, like some random streamer on Twitch, you know, not even like the biggest streamers, just you know, your average streamer, where you're not even getting the most views
because they're looking for a reaction by the streamer. I think is the idea.
That's probably what it is. They're probably just going through looking for minorities in each category, and you know, since you don't see many minorities at the top of fucking Twitch, they're probably going down and then, you know, botting their channels with a bunch of racist stuff because they're absolute waste of air. Yeah, like it's insane. It's so insane. It's insane.
People have been. It is the internet. People have been messaging Twitch about this similar behavior for quite some time. They haven't done anything. Of course, now that finally a couple of big enough streamers got enough social media traction, that Twitch finally said, "Hey guys, we're looking into it, and we noticed that there's some unfortunate holes in our security, and we're gonna work on." You know, we need to be better for you, and the usual fucking whatever Twitch reactive instead of proactive bullshit that they come down and say, but they're working on it. So hopefully they plug that hole sooner or later.
Bad, man. That's bad. I haven't heard of this, so this is my first time hearing about it. But I believe it. It's the internet. You know, I've been a black streamer on Twitch for a decade. I've seen and heard it all. Yep. So not shocking. And heard it all.
Not shocking. Linus Tech Tips got their hands on the Steam Deck, Mr. Black, to take it for a spin, and it seems that it's looking really good, as we were hoping. You can, if you want to see the full video, you can. He's obviously got it up on his channel on YouTube. You can watch that. He goes over just about everything. He puts it through its paces, talks a lot more about the hardware and stuff and what all those specs mean. It looks good. And he also brought, you know, a Switch and one of the other competitors that were already in the market as well, to compare those all together while he had it there. And so, yeah, you can check that out if you want to get a little more info on that. But it does look good. It looks like it's really coming together, and it's going to be a good piece of kit. So for those that gambled on it and said, fuck it, YOLO, it's looking like you've got a good purchase coming. You got one on order, didn't you?
I do.
Yeah. Did you go balls deep?
I went balls deep. Got the big bad boy one.
I think that comes with a slightly fancier screen too, like a different coating. There's a different glass coating to it or some shit.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Basically, how it worked is when oh shit, I totally forgot about that tonight. Oh no. Yeah, that's fine. I forgot I have an event. I have an event at 6 o'clock tonight.
At 6?
The email.
Jesus.
I know. Don't worry. I'll go late.
We'll make it work. We'll make it work.
I just got the email. They're like, "Hey, here's your ticket." It's just this real estate event that's going on.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, shit. Yes, I got the most expensive one.
Yeah.
But when I got it, you basically spend like $7 and you get the guarantee to buy one. So I didn't have to spend all the money up front.
Oh,
they basically give you.
You're buying your pre-order, basically.
Exactly. You're registering or getting a guaranteed thing for when they come open. Then they'll send you an email when you can pay for it, and then you pay for it, and then they'll ship it. So yes, I did do that.
That's kind of an interesting way. They probably did that to try and stop scalpers by going that route.
And you only can get one. Can get one, and they are sold out like
it was so like quick.
2-3 minutes. They were all gone.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people, like everything else, like they're trying to get in, and everyone's trying to get in all at once, and it was like a clusterfuck. So I'm glad you got one, because it means that we'll be able to talk about it when that bitch rolls through.
Dude, I'm fucking pumped. I'm pumped for that.
I think it's going to be a really interesting piece of kit. I think it's going to be very popular indeed. I think they're going to sell a shitload of those bad boys. And it will be fun to see how they upgrade it over time too, right?
Yeah, I think it's going to be I think expectations will be met, but I don't think it's going to surpass expectations. I think it's going to be this thing where it's like, man, this is a solid piece. It really shines in this sort of type of gaming, but it lacks at this type of gaming. But I think it's going to shine enough that for people like me that would love to go around with my Steam thing, I'm going to make it a mission to play games that I bought on the Steam store that I just never played. And to be able to do it away from the computer and almost have a console experience without being while having a PC experience. It's
I mean people were bitching about the 720p, but the screen's this fucking big. And when you're playing games, everything's moving. It's not like watching a movie. Like if you watch movies on it, it's probably not all that impressive because everything's fucking 24p. It's super slow. You notice shit. But when you're playing games, 720, it's the same as a Switch.
Yep.
If you like what the Switch looks like, which it looks good in handheld, like if you have a Switch, the shit looks good. I don't think anyone's going to be bitching about it, and it allows them to push higher frame rates. You know, I think people would rather have on a screen that big 720p 60 instead of 1080p 30. Like that's a big, no pun intended, switch in quality between those two. So there you go. We got that bitch coming. Thankfully, one of us managed to get our hands on it. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see how that rolls out. Epic, Mr. Black, has sunk $500 million into the Epic Game Store. Several dollars.
They make that in a couple months.
And while we reported towards the beginning of the lawsuit with Apple that they expected to not be profitable for 1 to 3 more years, this lawsuit, as it's continued on, they've shifted that target now. Now they're estimating that they won't be profitable until 2027. So we'll keep you up to date if it becomes 2030 as time rolls on. But hey, they got Ariana Grande coming, Jeff.
Perfect.
Big money coming through.
Big money. Huge money.
Back 4 Blood beta went over relatively well from what I could see. I didn't personally play it, but lots of streamers obviously got their hands on Back 4 Blood, and we're playing that in the last week. Aside from some minor bugs and stuff, seemed to be playing about as well as you expect it to. It's fucking Left 4 Dead, guys. I mean, it's going to be a perhaps slightly more polished Left 4 Dead, maybe a couple of sprinkled extra mechanics since it's been a while since Left 4 Dead came out. It's fucking Left 4 Dead. So if you like Left 4 Dead, great fucking news. You got more Left 4 Dead coming. You just won't hear pills here, but I bet you're going to get a reference.
Yep. Oh, 100%.
So you can wait for that. There was one other weird thing that there was a bunch of gamers that thought they were hearing zombies yelling the N-word.
Yeah, I saw clips of that. It's definitely not what they're saying.
No, I mean, I don't think.
No, it's one of those things where it kind of like if you're looking to hear that, you'll hear that. But, you know, it's weird groaning. I would imagine that they're going to take that soundbite out of the game at this point, right?
Yeah, just to avoid it. Even nobody is dumb enough to put that shit in a video game in 2020. Ain't nobody that stupid. Yeah. So yeah, that's just an unfortunate coincidence. But it made for a really easy Kotaku article, so they were happy.
Of course it did.
Apparently an open world Arkham, like Batman Arkham Rangers style Power Rangers game was almost made a few years back, Mr. Black. An open world action Power Rangers game. But unfortunately, there were too many projects happening at the time and it fell by the wayside, and then the market kind of shifted away from that style. But damn it, now I'm upset.
Well, I'm not.
The Power Rangers game on the Super Nintendo as a kid was fire.
It is good. It actually was good. Yeah, it was.
That shit was fire. That beat 'em up was fucking incredible. And I agree. You know, maybe we're due for an almost not terrible Power Rangers game. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. So
we'll never know.
We'll never know. Fantasian, which is that game that is being made by the OG Final Fantasy folks, including Nobuo Uematsu, doing his last full soundtrack for this game. And is sadly limited to the fucking Apple Arcade or whatever the fuck, which just makes me so upset. I'm hoping this thing gets like a wider release after all of the games are done and their license runs up with fucking Apple in the future, because it looks incredible and probably sounds incredible thanks to that soundtrack. Part 2 is coming out August 13th, so that's tomorrow. And so for those of you lucky enough to have a device with that access at this time, if you haven't already checked it out, oh my god, check it out. They're doing handmade dioramas for the whole thing, plus it's old school like JRPG, and you get a Nobuo Uematsu soundtrack. Into my main vein. All of it. Unfortunately, right now it's through Apple, and I can't get it main vein right now. I gotta wait for my fix. I gotta get my meth elsewhere when it launches somewhere else. No Man's Sky hit its 5th anniversary. I can't believe that game's been out for 5 years. Holy shit. Time flies. Celebrated with the trailer going back over the development from the very beginning. You know, after everyone sold their homes to fund the fucking studio and make the game in the first place, and they're in like this degenerate ass looking old kitchen making peanut butter sandwiches, making the fucking game, all the way up through, of course, some of the more tumultuous post-launch shenanigans. And then they, of course, announced their 17th free update. 17 in 5 years. That's crazy.
Redemption.
They did it. It's called Frontiers. I don't have any more details about it yet. I don't know if they've actually given like the list of stuff yet, like they usually do. If they have, then it's probably pretty easy to find. But I'm sure it's probably a dope update, because they have literally not had a non-dope update since they started handing these bitches out. So whatever it is, if I find out it comes out later between now and next podcast, we'll talk about it next podcast. But congrats for the greatest anime redemption arc of all fucking time. Jesus. Doesn't get any better. That's the kind of redemption the Battlefield needs right now.
Yep.
That level of redemption. Good luck.
Godspeed.
Speaking of Godspeed and good luck, DrDisrespect is looking for a co-owner and studio head for a game studio, Mr. Black. He's had enough of all these fucking not violent, speed, and momentum-based video games. It's not enough. He needs more ponytails, more greased back hair, and Lamborghinis from the 80s. He needs more of that. And he needs it in a video game. All of a sudden, my fucking Google page just totally died. Please tell me. Okay, good. We're back. So he's looking for a studio head and co-owner. So he's recognizing that he is not going to be heading this bitch up by himself. He does have industry experience. He designed, I believe, like roughly half of the maps for Call of Duty and Infinity War, I think was the title that he was on. So he has multiplayer shooter map design experience, and a fairly significant amount of it. So, and he's shown in other smaller games that have come out that have let him, like he's designed maps and whatnot in the last couple of years. So, he's looking for somebody to head that bitch up, and then he wants to work with himself and other influencers in the space that he knows that are big into the probably first-person shooter multiplayer market to make their dream game. And so, obviously, a lot of industry people have had a lot to say about this. And by that, I mean, they're all going, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? This is never going to work. This is a joke. Who is this guy? Why is he doing this? Etc., etc. And while I totally get the sentiment, because nobody likes to hear about influencers and content creators getting into any space and trying their thing in it, I don't know why they're poo-pooing it so much, because for years, people have been saying, you know, all these great ideas for games and stuff, and none of it ever happens, and then the industry folks tell you why it never happens, and now here's their opportunity to be able to say, I told you so. If anything, they should be thrilled, because if this bombs...
Yeah, then they go, hey, listen, these companies, they've been saying under their breath or straight up to people, you think you can do better? Go fucking make a game. Well,
and now he's here.
Is going, I'm going to go and try and make a game. If it fails, okay. If it doesn't and it's successful, then it's a big fuck you. And he probably gets to do something he's always dreamed about doing. He's in a financial position. He has all the influence in the world. Go follow your dreams. Go make a game. And all of his buddies, he's well connected. It will get played, and it will probably do better than the vast majority of these indie games that come out. Is it going to be a Call of Duty level? No, it probably won't. But it can definitely make a splash. And who knows? It might be a big thing, or it might fall flat on its face. All the power to him. Go do your thing.
Well, that's just
Godspeed.
That's just it. I was so confused. I saw a lot of people just like shitting on it, and I was like, man, like, this is your time. This is where you get to say, I told you so. So just, why would you open your mouth, shut your mouth, let it happen, and then have a little I told you so moment. Unfortunately, now that you want to open your mouth, if on the small chance he pulls this bitch off, you're fucked.
He's gonna call you out. He's gonna say, I made a better game. He's gonna troll you, and everybody else is gonna troll you. And yeah, it'll be fun.
You're gonna hate your life. It's gonna be a terrible choice. And then they'll probably, they'll make a bunch of excuses for why it was successful. And then the irony will be, well, then if it was that easy, why don't you go do it?
Yep.
Throwing it back in their face. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see if he even finds somebody. And to make it work. The only reason I think this has a hope in hell is because, one, obviously his status in the community. He has, whether you like his character or not, he has a shitload of people following him and will follow him anywhere he goes. So that's just a given.
If he can get the right team together, it'll work to a degree.
Yeah.
It just will.
He's got experience. He's literally designed shit. Like, this is not like me. I have zero design experience going to a game going, people have asked on Patreon, wait, what's your dream game? Like, I fucking know. This guy's at least worked in the industry.
They'll rally behind him, and that's that, And the thing is even if the game is okay, people will pretend it's amazing, and it's like, hey, it's his first thing. The next time we'll see what they'll spin this in a way that it'll be a win. The question is, will he actually get there? Right? Will he get the right team? Will he go the whole distance? Will he follow through, or will this just kind of fall flat and then he'll move on to something else? We'll find out.
We're gonna find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. Rumor that Rockstar is working on a remaster of all three. We actually just talked about this being a possibility not long ago. Remaster of all three classic Grand Theft Auto games coming late this year to most platforms. And also has plans. I don't know why that got auto-corrected. My notes say also has Poland for the original Red Dead Redemption.
Perfect.
That's plans. Why it's Poland, I don't know. Shoutouts to Poland. But yeah, not surprising. But more surprising is that the rumor's true. Like, October, November of this year is really soon. They're apparently going to be working. The rumor is that this is all done in Unreal Engine and will have various combinations of old and new graphics and brushing up the mechanics and quality of life like we've seen in some other stuff. Not like a Resident Evil 2 complete redo, but some sort of like meet you halfway on that shit. And guess what? That will make a lot of money.
Yep.
Boatloads of money. That could be full price, and it's going to make loads of money. You know what else is going to make loads of money? Our sellout, Mr. Black.
Patreon.com/LagTV. Head on over there. Throw all the money at the screen. All of it. Every single last penny of it. Just dump it there. And if you can't, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Go to YouTube. Hit the like button. Share it. Do all that shit. Algorithmic stuff. Leave comments. All that fun stuff. Do it for us. If you don't want to do that, at least go to our sponsor, NordVPN, and buy yourself a subscription. 73% off with a bonus of 4 extra months. For less than the price of a grande cinnamon dolce latte at Starbucks. I know you got it. I want my money. All right, as the Hodge twins would say. All right, it's less than 10 cents a day. All right, that's damn near free. I want my money. Head on over there. All right, and go get yourself a subscription. Up to 6 simultaneous devices. You can watch region block content. Stay safe and anonymous on the internet. Watch different regions of Netflix by the click of a button. If you're from Germany, watch Twitch and all this other stuff that's going on at the click of a button. Literally mask your IP in seconds, have it on your smartphone, your desktop, your everything. Pretty smart TV. You can hook it up to your router and hit everything all at once with just from using one of your 6 simultaneous devices.
You got one of those smart fridges with a fucking screen on the front of it for no reason?
Throw it on there. NordVPN it up. Do all the VPNs in the Nord. When you're in the market for a VPN, go to nordvpn.com/OTT. Use the promo code OTT. Stay safe, stay anonymous, and support the dang podcast. I know we've been doing this for like 2 years now almost, which means the ones that started, your resubscription is coming up. It's time to renew. Use the promo code OTT and get 73% off. Plus, if you haven't already checked out Elgato's products, they've got literally everything now. Webcams, microphones, green screens, lighting, capture cards, soundproofing. They literally got virtually everything. Stream decks. If you don't already got one of those, you gotta get one. They're incredible. Elgato is actually crushing the game in virtually every conceivable way. Competition is falling. They're rising. Their stock is rising, literally. Head on over to Elgato, link is in the description below, and pick yourself up a Stream Deck, and it's time to upgrade those Logitech C920s and get yourself an Elgato face cam. It's that time. Head on over there and pick one up.
Mr. Black, it's time for
movies and TV.
Sony purchased Crunchyroll, finally, after all of that waiting for the regulatory bodies to say yay or nay based on it possibly being a monopoly. They said, you know what? Fuck it. It's not a monopoly, so take it. And now Sony owns Funimation and Crunchyroll. That's all under the same roof. It's a lot of anime, Jeff. In fact, that's got to be almost the majority of all anime that's outside of Japan.
All the animes.
That's all of it forever. I mean, short of Netflix at this point putting out their custom shit, that is a good, massive chunk of the anime market all under one roof. Everyone can only hope at this point that it means that Crunchyroll's app or whatever app that they create will be better than the one that currently happens to exist. Because, oh my god, it's terrible. Please spend some money on that bitch and make it better. AMC apparently is going to be beginning to accept Bitcoin as payment for tickets by the year's end, Jeff. They want in. They got some of that dirty Reddit Wall Street bets money. Now they want the fucking dirty Bitcoin money.
They're pandering. They're pandering. And listen, these guys are smart, man. AMC is crushing it. These motherfuckers went almost bankrupt. Yeah. Then they had fucking Wall Street bets literally make them hundreds of bagillions of dollars and took them out of nothing. I got to hand it to AMC. The CEO is absolutely crushing it. He's
leaning into it.
Yes, they're putting in like UFC events and theaters and different things like that because Wall Street Bets wants it, and they're keeping them on their side. They're keeping the stock up. They're fighting the shorts. They're diamond handing it. AMC listen. AMC is crushing it right now. Say what you want about the company. They're bought out more movie chains. They're
making use of it. They're not wasting their time in the sun.
There you go. Shoutouts to AMC, man. I don't have any money in AMC.
I did for a time.
Yeah.
And then I got out.
I just sold everything at $43. I was out of there. It went up to like 60, fell down to 43. I said, you know what? I bought in at $6 and $9. I'm out. Taking my gains. I'm running. My diamond hands are over. All right. I'm out of this bitch. And so, you know, it is what it is. So shout outs to AMC, man. They're making all the right plays. They're doing the right things. And grats.
You know who else we're going to shout out this week? Idris Elba. Everyone wants Idris Elba as James Bond, but fuck that. That's boring. You know what we need? Idris Elba playing Knuckles in the next Sonic the Hedgehog movie, and that's exactly what we got! Idris Elba just low-key dropped a fucking Knuckles hand on Twitter the other day and said, knock knock. And the internet said, who's there? And he said, I'm Knuckles. That's all I've got. There's no joke. I'm just Knuckles. And then everyone said, that's fucking awesome!
I'm down, man. Idris Elba is amazing. He was absolutely phenomenal in the Suicide Squad. Idris Elba, he's no matter what movie he's in, even if the movies are bad, he's just great in the movies. So sure. I didn't even finish watching the first Sonic, now I will finish watching the first Sonic so that I can watch the second Sonic.
Can we talk about the glow up that fucking movie franchise has experienced? It went from literally the laughingstock of the internet to a complete overhaul done by mostly friggin' fans, and then it comes out and it manages against all odds to do respectable fucking numbers in theaters and otherwise, and now it's managed to rope in Idris Elba to play the secondary starring role of this movie.
I'm in.
Yes,
I'm
give me
in.
that. Warner Bros. Signed with AMC. Speaking of AMC, I probably could have put this underneath. This apparently happened a while ago, but this is just becoming more public, I guess, now. For a 45-day exclusive window in 2022 for their movies. So any Warner Brothers properties coming out, 45-day window in 2022 is the current deal. And then after that, shit can go off.
Good news for movie theaters. Good news for the movie theaters.
Phenomenal. That's more than enough time.
Yeah, it's more than enough.
In fact, that's basically what they had before, right? Like before all this shit was pretty
before,
close.
Well, before it would be like I think I wanted to say it was almost 90 days between that and Blu-ray, where it would be like it'd be out for a while and then it'd wait a while and then go. Depend on the movie, but I think 45 days is good. I think 45 days is more than enough.
Oh yeah, I think that's a great window. I think it's way better than 90. 90 that's excessive.
I think they were. I think at one point it was 90. It might have changed over the years, but 45 days I think is plenty. I even think 30 days is enough.
There's not a lot of movies making a substantial amount of money after 45 days in theater, right? There's not very many.
There's not a lot, no.
As for whether or not Idris Elba will keep his English accent or go American, if he doesn't keep his English accent, I'll be very upset. Knuckles 100% needs to be deep English.
He probably will. Deep.
Speaking of deep, the last part of the podcast, Jeff, we're ending on a fucking high note. It's Nic Cage alert! Woo!
All right.
Woo! Woo! Nic Cage alert! We got another trailer for a Nic Cage movie. I still haven't watched Pig, but it's available now. It's out, but I haven't got a chance to watch it yet.
I ain't watching that shit.
I'm watching the shit out of Pig.
What is this?
This is
Prisoner
of the Ghostland.
There we go.
All right, hold on one sec. Oh, we gotta get this bad boy up. All right, I got it up on my end here. All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Now, is he starring in this, or is this like another?
Because it's Nicolas Cage.
I would have her return to me post haste.
Post haste.
And you, sir, I am told, are the man to do the job.
All right, you know what? Nicolas Cage, props to him. He's lost some weight. He was getting around with a bit too much of a dad bod for a while. Look at this.
Really? Just beyond the point.
Oh, this is the guy who did Mandy.
Lies a highway where evil reigns.
What is this?
At the end of 5 days, if you have not returned with Bernice, well, I think you get the idea, son. Godspeed.
This is the Ghostland, a land of no escape. We are not the ones who hold her captive. It's been 2 days, and still she is missing.
I don't know 100% how I feel, but I kind of dig the aesthetic a bit.
You must
Hold the F on. Ah! Yes! Yes! Nicolas Cage! In a football helmet!
That movie looks like
yes!
ass. That looks
yes,
like,
I want it!
I don't.
Give me that!
You're high, man. You try way too hard to like Nicolas Cage, man.
I don't have to try. I don't have to try.
That shit just looks bad, bro. I am radioactive.
The worse a Nicolas Cage movie looks, the more I'm in. If it starts looking too good, I start going, I don't know. But if Nicolas Cage off screen delivers a poorly fucking like a poor line like I am radioactive with like no context, makes no sense, I'm in. We're all living in Nicolas Cage's world now, Jeff. We're all in it. And now it's time for a very short but sweet
tech support.
Patreon.com/LagTV is the place to be if you want to ask us questions. We've got answers. It's just going to cost you money because, well, I need it. Put up a post every week called Tech Support. It goes up before the podcast. We answer as many of those bad boys as we can with the time that we have. And that's the place to do it. $10 more each month. Gets you that exclusive privilege, by the way. Exclusive. Let's see here. Dan Jim asks, have you ever turned a failure into a win, and is it something you feel rather proud of? Honestly, Lag TV is probably a failure into a win.
There you go. Nailed it.
If somebody goes back and watches Six Pool tutorial, that bitch couldn't have done more of a 180 if you tried.
It ended up being a win.
It's a fat dub. So yes.
Yes, we have. We're a living failure to win. And now it's starting to turn into a failure.
We're a winning failure now.
Yeah, we're winning failure.
We've rid the roller coaster. Yeah. We're on for the whole ride. We haven't jumped ship yet. Mark Furry asks, you've both seen some shady building, and I think he means like houses and buildings and whatnot. He asks, what's the worst DIY thing that you've seen so far?
Oh, the house the triplex I just got, the whole fucking front of the house wasn't properly done. It had no tie back, it had no insulation, it had no nothing. It was like
interior wall, exterior wall.
I'm not making this up. It was siding on wood drywall. That's what it was.
That's a 10 out of 10.
There was an issue apparently in the front, and they redid the front, but they didn't do it correctly. The rest of the other built the sides and the back, fine. The front, they did it themselves, and they fucked the whole thing up. All the framing was bad. It cost me $10,000. It was absolutely insanity.
I can't believe that shit. I don't know. I don't know if I've seen worse. It's not DIY, but the first house that I ever lived in, and I was the first person to live in it. It was brand new. The front doorstep of these places had like the overhang for the doorway entry, and with that they had 2 4x4s going down to the doorstep. Most of the time, you would have those 4x4s going down to the ground and sitting on what are they called? Sonotubes or something similar that are rooted into the fucking earth because it's holding up something that people walk under on a daily basis. And you either do that or you cantilever it and bolt it to the floorboards on the second story if it allows you to do that. One or the other. Or sometimes if you're feeling like Mike Holmes and you overbuild everything, both. This was neither. This was 4x4s down to the doorstep and just the doorstep. Nothing else. It didn't go down into a sonotube, nothing. And the whole lot was backfilled with just massive pieces of like would-be walkway from other areas and big boulders and shit. So when it settled, because they didn't wait long enough before they built the houses, when the shit settled, the front of the doorstep dropped about 4 inches to 5 inches, and the 4x4 started to tilt out, and the top fucking overhang started to fall off the side of the house. And I had to talk to my landlord about why that was probably bad and that he might want to pay somebody to come in and solve that problem before somebody died, chiefly me. And if you look down the road, because they're all built on one straight street, you can literally see all of them just in various states of leaning 4x4s waiting for it to happen everywhere else. So I'm sure everyone's had to have a guy come in and do that shit. And in the same house, the guy who did the plumbing didn't grade the piping going out to the exterior tap. And so that pipe burst in the wintertime and I only used it once outside. And it's because he didn't grade the fucking pipe. So it went back in, it hit the back valve, stayed in that little gap, and then fucking exploded in the wintertime, and then we had a basement leak in the following summer. So real fucking winters. And that wasn't even DIY. That was somebody's actual job. Seth asks, what would somebody have to say to get you to throw hands immediately? No waiting. All hands on deck. I don't think there's anything you say. I just don't care anymore. Like if I was like 20 years old again, there's probably some shit. But it's just like at that point, you're trying too hard and I don't care.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to do something like put me and my family in danger. Like we're on the road and you just cut me off and you literally like swipe the front of my car and we just both went off the road. And then I get out of my car and I beat your ass into the ground and you don't go to the hospital because we got in a car accident. You go there because I put you there. That's about as close you get. It's not something you say. You can't say something to me that I'm gonna be like, oh, it's time.
The only thing that I can ever think of that somebody would do that is if they came to me and they're like, listen, man, Protoss is OP. They're throwing down.
You're doing, you know what you're doing? Somebody saying that shit, you know what you're doing? You're cocking your hands like Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill cocked fists immediately. D-Neves, in your opinions, how far or how long of a drive is it to go too far before commuting to work? What's the cutoff time?
For work?
Yeah.
1 hour. Any more than an hour, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. No.
I'm pretty much, I would say like right around 40 minutes is where I'm like, okay, this is getting stupid. 1 hour would be like absolute
maximum.
Most. Yeah, absolute. Because
Yep.
if you're going to spend 2 hours in a car a day,
not worth it.
That ain't it. That ain't it. I'd have to be getting paid some crazy amount of money. That ain't it.
Let's try and get one more good one here. Oh, I'll do this one real quick just because it's specific to me, and then I'll answer it quick, and then we'll do one more. Oh, and I got an easy one to line it up with for the end. Stephen Hopkins asks, he's in a lower level corporate job and is constantly told I should work in higher level roles. Every time I do, I get incredibly stressed out and fed up with all the corporate political bullshit. I make enough money and I'm happy where I'm at now, but I'm worried that I might regret not moving up while I had the chance. Not sure how exactly to phrase this as a question, so I'll just ask your thoughts. I mean, that's really just up to you. You gotta... I understand what you mean. I largely was happy when Live TV took off because I fucking hate the corporate game. I can play it, I just refuse to do it because it was so fucking shitty. Nobody likes having to suck somebody else's dick on a daily basis to move up a ladder and play political fucking or corporate politics. It's you feel like you're not working. You feel like you're playing a game and not actually doing your work. Like everyone wants to go to work, do a good job, and get rewarded for it. You don't want to go to work, do a good job, bust your ass, and have to suck somebody's dick all at the same time. This shit ain't, you're not an escort. You're not here to fucking give somebody a reach around on a daily basis while also doing their work for them. So I get it. It's just up to you. It's, do you want to maybe put up with that for a short period of time and just try it out? Worst case scenario, you step back down somewhere else, see how you fare with it. Otherwise, there's not else you can do. If you're happy with the amount of money you're making and whatnot, then fuck it. I mean, the dream is to be making as much money as you want and to enjoy your job. If you marry those two things, you've won. I mean, that's what everyone wants. Everyone wants to make enough money that they're comfortable and enjoy their job.
Yeah.
Because if you hate your job, you better be getting paid fucking ass loads of money to tolerate it. So if you're already at that happy place, then maybe you don't need it. But I would suggest, unless you really like where you're working now, and you're afraid that you won't be able to go back if you do go up, to just give it a shot. And then when you're there...
fuck that. I say don't settle. Go and get it. Play the game. If you're going to play the game, play it right. Do it right. And then when you're at the top, you no longer have to suck any dicks. Now the dicks are going to be sucking you. It's just really that simple. Well,
those are impressive dicks. The dicks are going to be sucking him.
If you really would hate your life, then I don't think it's necessarily a corporate issue. I think it's your job issue. I think then it's time to find a different company that holds similar values to you, because not all corporate jobs are bad. What you might think, they're not. A lot of them are, but they're not all bad. So, maybe it's time to find a different job that's, not so dick sucky or corporate politics. They're always going to be politics to some degree in any job. It doesn't fucking matter what you do. It's always going to be there. If you're in the corporate world and you have an opportunity to raise your income by 25%, 50% or more, go do it. Go fucking make your money. Don't fucking settle because some asshole is going to give you a hard time on the way there. Fuck that asshole. Go there, do the job better, and make them look stupid, and then make your money, go home, and live your life. Don't fucking settle. You sign up for this corporate shit. Get out there and make your goddamn money. I'm not joking. I don't like coming asking me for boo-hoo. I don't
think he's asking for boo-hoo.
Well, I don't think it is, but it's okay. Asking me if there's an opportunity for you to move up and make more money and further your career, and you don't want to do it because you just don't want to play corporate politics, you probably shouldn't got into corporate life. Like that's what it's going to be like that almost anywhere you go. Some places worse than others. Go and play the game. Just make it happen. Suck it up and make it happen. Welcome to the real world. I mean, it's just the way it is in every fucking job. There's always dicks and assholes that are going to make your life hell. Go make your goddamn money and don't let people stop you from doing it. That's my 2 cents. It's going to fucking suck, but hey, fuck them. When you're on the top, they're going to suck you off. That's what's going to happen. And then you're going to say, yeah, it was worth it. Or maybe you won't, and you'll fucking hate your life, but you'll get paid good to do it.
Speaking of, I had a segue, but I lost it here. Anyway, 8, 9, 10 is the easy one for us to wrap up on. In 2024, due to massive incompetence, Activision is forced to sell off Blizzard IPs in full. How much does Diablo, StarCraft, and Warcraft sell for separately? What do you think they're worth?
As franchises?
Yeah, individually.
I mean, Warcraft, like the fucking World of Warcraft. I mean, that's just
the IP in general.
Billions.
Yeah,
that shit's worth billions. I mean, I don't know, $10 billion. StarCraft, like the IP, probably $1 billion. Diablo's probably a little bit more, probably 3 billion. 2-3 billion. I don't know. I'm just throwing names. They're all in the billions. They're all billion-dollar franchises at this point.
Yeah.
Because it's not just the success of the game right now. It's the IP and the ability
the
to
future value,
sell merchandise, re-release games, the merchandise. All of it is money in the long run, right? There's billions of dollars. I mean, Bethesda sold, for what, 7 billion or something. Something nutty or something.
Something around 7. I think it was like around $7 billion, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, and StarCraft, although it's dead game, it's not really a dead game. The game is still very big in other parts of the world. It's just not a.
And you're talking about the intellectual property too. It's not just the game.
Property, not just the game, right? Yeah. That's where the money's at. Is the IP. If you're going by what the game is worth now, then yeah, it's far less. But if you have the property, especially Warcraft, that shit's billions. Lots and lots of billions.
Yeah, I would say Diablo. I'd say Diablo is a bill. I'd say StarCraft is a bill. I think they're pretty much on equal footing as far as intellectual property goes. The thing that's holding back StarCraft is it's predominantly a strategy game, and that's always a harder sell than other things. Even if you were to spin that IP into something else, the majority of the people buying it are buying it for RTS. So it's about the same as Diablo. They're both a bill. I'd say Warcraft is probably 5 billion.
Oh,
I think those
so much more.
Well, by 2024, I don't think it's worth that kind of money.
Movies, TV shows, all that stuff, man. Warcraft is that shit is fucking massive. Warcraft is worth more than all of Bethesda. The whole fucking shebang. Easily. Just Warcraft.
I guess the discussion that would have to happen is do those 3 IPs separate from Blizzard do they hold the same value? Is the discussion that would happen at the table would be, look, these games did big numbers back in the day, and it was Blizzard that made these games what they are. Are they really worth all that much money now that Warcraft is 25 years old or 20 years old and is outside of a now beaten down and swallowed up Blizzard? Is it worth it outside of it? The same amount of money that they're trying to get the top dollar for would probably be what they'd ask at the table, and then they'd have to defend that and say absolutely, and this is why.
Spoiler alert: Blizzard is never getting rid of any of those properties ever. So,
oh no, Activision will sit on those all day. Yeah,
there's no way they're selling those IPs to anybody under any circumstance. So,
but they will get rid of the Blizzard in the name pretty soon.
Well,
that'll happen.
The biggest thing that I could ever see is Activision selling Blizzard and their IPs as a whole, and then somebody buying Blizzard and redoing Blizzard. They're not going to sell the IPs individually. It's either Blizzard is going away from Activision, which is not going to happen, by the way. But I think they're just going to call it Activision again.
That's what
they're going to remove the Blizzard in it, and they're going to rebrand everything.
Yeah, they've already got it. They have all the IP. They can. This lawsuit is going to allow them even more of a reason to just go to their shareholders and be like, "Hey guys, it's time for us to just be called Activision, and we're going to turn all this shit into mobile games." And that's kind of where it's going.
And they'll print money. They'll print
money with it for sure. So I think that's more likely. But all the same, I think if you're selling them individually, I think that's kind of where they're going. But it's worth a lot of money, one way or the other, to whoever would be crazy enough to spend it. And that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's another Tech Off podcast. Hopefully you enjoyed yourselves. We're going to get out of here. Mr. Black has a thing.
I'm already late.
So he's off for that, and we'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much for stopping by. We do appreciate it. Until we see you next week, stay safe out there. Peace.
Peace.